Hello YouTube. Today I'll be showing you 1 hour of Turoths on my Ironman account. So basically Turoths are located in the Fremennik Slayer dungeon. And so the best way to get there is by the fairy ring code AJR. Otherwise you can use a Slayer ring teleport, but a lot of Ironmen do not have that at this low level. So yeah, practically you want to use the Fremennik lodestone, then you want to run southeast if you don't have access to the fairy rings. Then you want to go to the very end of the dungeon. Well, almost very end. It took me 2 minutes to get there. The requirements for this are, you need 55 Slayer, 50 attack, 55 attack really helps so you can use Hurricane, 48 strength for the cleave ability, and you also want to have 61 agility, as well as 81 agility, so you can get the shortcuts in there to get inside. And yeah, at the time I recorded the video, I actually had 61 and 81 agility. You absolutely need 55 magic to use High Alch. Also, I highly recommend that you have at least 46 rune crafting, so that way you can craft your own nature runes, because it's really expensive at shops. So for my equipment setup, I highly suggest you use melee, because it's their weakness. The leaf-bladed spear is the only melee weapon that damages Turoths. You can buy this from Slayer Masters for 30k GP. The armor I have is Rockshall armor, and that is Fremennik power armor. It requires the Fremennik trials complete. And you can get this from giant rock crabs. It's basically the easiest armor to get at around these levels. You can also bring a ring of wealth, and that increases the rare drop chance, plus a chance of the hard clue scroll. The amulet I have is Amulet of Power, as is really the only amulet I can access. So for my inventory setup, I brought alch runes, and this is the key to money making. You also want a banking teleport, which either Ring of Kinship or Taco Zo will do. Food is optional, but it makes trips last longer, and I'll explain later in the strategy how you can do this without food. Gem bag also helps here, because they drop a lot of uncut gems. I didn't actually buy this from Dungeoneering, however. The Bone Crusher really helps filter out some drops, but I don't have enough tokens to buy it. Well, as you can see, I'm killing a lot of these fast, so the bones are really going to interfere with the area looting. Now for my action bar, I put Cleave on the first slot. It doesn't really matter what other basics you have. Thresholds I would use here are Hurricane and Quake. Now of course I can't access Meteor Strike because it requires 81 attack however, so here's a strategy I use. I basically use Thresholds as often as possible, and you want to find a cluster of Turoths. I didn't actually use Prayer here since I'm too lazy to farm herbs for prayer pots. Now why I didn't bring food is because it takes a lot of inventory space, and they drop a lot of seeds as well as noted steel bars. So basically when you're under 1k HP, you just want to use the basic regenerate ability by clicking your HP icon. And then basically just mop the floor, pick up anything that's alchable and alch it. The Turoths do not hit really hard, so even at like 600 HP, I can still take a rest. And for anyone who doesn't know, you can drag and drop an item to your money pouch to High Alch. So for the drops, they're mostly rune daggers, addy plate legs, and earth battle staves. They're also a great source of herb seeds. You can also get a nice amount of noted steel bars. The hard clue scrolls are fairly common for some reason. I average 1 heart every 30 minutes. The green charms are pretty decent as well, but the overall charms are pretty bad. Alright, so in 1 hour, I got 110k melee XP. And for GP per hour, I got 900k worth of alchables that I dragged to my money pouch and converted to coins. The charms I got were 150 green charms, as well as a couple of other spare charms. So in comparison to alternatives, Spiritual Warriors would require 68 Slayer, and their drops may look pretty valuable because of their high alchables, but unfortunately they don't drop them pretty often, and they're not clustered together so you can't kill them at a fast rate. Sometimes you may accidentally aggro the Spiritual Mages because if you don't have 83 Slayer, you cannot damage them and it can be really annoying when they hit you. The Aberrant Spectres are also okay for money, and it requires 60 Slayer. They're great herbs, but their alchable drops aren't as common as it looks. And then another moneymaker that's better than this are Gargoyles. They require 75 Slayer, and they're very amazing for alchables. However, getting from 55 to 75 Slayer can be really time consuming. So is it worth camping overall? Well, for main accounts, you can just pretty much forget about it, because there are a lot of money making methods that outclass 1 mil an hour. It's also really annoying to get here, especially without 61 agility. Now I got my agility from Happy Hour, from the Fair Spring event. If it wasn't for that, then it'd be even more annoying to train agility. Now think about it. Without the agility level, you'd be running all the way around just to get to that spot. And it's also more click intensive to area loot, since yeah, the drops are pretty much buried under bones, especially when you don't have Bone Crusher. And the last thing is, money isn't really needed for an Ironman, as nothing you buy is worth over 1 mil. However, because broad arrows can cost a lot, which is 150k per stock, camping them may be actually advised once in a while, and I mean, you also need money for miscellanea anyways. Now to be honest, this is one of the most reliable money makers for mid-level Slayer, especially for Ironman. Like I said, the gap between 55 to 75 Slayer is really long. It's one of the hardest levels of Slayer to grind, and it's especially tedious and slow if you don't have a high combat level. Cause yeah, the Slayer Masters have a lot of limitations in them due to their combat level requirements. So honestly, in conclusion, just camp these until you get bored, but you want to keep training your Slayer until level 75 so you can camp Gargoyles for even more money. So yeah, thanks for watching and I hope it helps. If I missed anything, feel free to ask.